Hi, welcome to Coturnix Corner. My name's Terry, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about another market that you can potentially tap into to help increase your egg sales. I know a lot of you are already selling eating eggs and hatching eggs, but there is another market out there that is popular within the Asian and the Hispanic communities, and that is the balut egg market, or quail balut. Basically what balut is an egg that has a partially developed embryo inside, and your customer will take that egg, boil it up, and eat the contents of that egg, and it is considered a delicacy in their culture. Okay, so to get started with producing quail balut, basically all you need to do is collect the largest eggs that your birds are producing and incubate those eggs just as if you were going to hatch them eggs out as chicks. The only difference being is the day that you are going to bump up the humidity and the day that you're going to terminate the incubation process. I usually bump the humidity up right around day 12, and that's just to ensure that the egg's got sufficient moisture inside the egg. As far as the day that you pull the eggs out of the incubator, that will depend on your customer's preference. I have some customers that like the eggs a little bit less developed. I have customers that like the eggs a little bit more developed. So you'll really need to talk with your customer and find out how they like their egg. Otherwise, you can kind of go right in the middle, right around day 14, 14 and a half. Another thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you periodically candle the eggs during the incubation process, just to make sure that that egg is continuing to develop and that it has not died halfway through the incubation process, and that when you pull that egg out of the incubator, that the embryo in that egg is still alive. And then you'll take your eggs, place them in your plastic carton or whatever you use to sell your eggs in, and place them in a refrigerator until your customer comes by to pick them up. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly boil up some eggs that have been incubated that I have pulled out on day 14 and a half, closer to day 15, just to show you real quick what quail balut looks like when your customer boils them and makes the balut. Okay, so while those are boiling up, I want to talk to you a little bit about finding a market to sell your balut eggs. Besides the obvious Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, I found that Asian-owned nail salons are really good. The farmer's market, if they have, Hispanic or an Asian table set up in the farmer's market, or even an Asian-owned store is really good. What I do is I usually bring in a couple dozen eggs and I will just give them to them, and the cartons will have my business card in there, and I'll let them know that, I have fresh balut eggs available should they want them. Last year, my balut egg sales locally just skyrocketed here. Well, I won't say skyrocketed, but I'll say it almost doubled from the previous year, just because word of mouth gets out and people find that that you're selling them. I did run into one issue where a woman asked me if I had fertile eggs for sale. And because of the language barrier, I thought she meant hatching eggs. So I sold her, 2 dozen hatching eggs. And I don't think she was real happy when she went home and boiled them up, because I found out later that she wanted balut eggs. But that was my mistake. So you really want to make sure that you talk with your customer and understand what they are wanting. But once they find out that you are willing to incubate balut eggs, I think your market will just take off. So these eggs are done boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and bring them over here. We'll adjust the camera, and I'll show you exactly what a balut egg looks like inside. Okay, so I've never actually cooked and ate balut eggs, but I have watched some videos on YouTube on how they do it. And I've seen that they boil the egg up, and then they take a spoon and they tap the bottom of the egg, peel it open, and suck whatever is in there out. And I don't know how well you can see it, but there is a partially developed embryo in the egg. See if I can get him out of there. Okay, so a balut egg is something I personally would not eat. I actually find them a little bit disgusting, but in some cultures, balut eggs are a delicacy, and we owe it to ourselves to understand that, and we can actually tap into that market to help our bottom line. Okay, so a quick recap on balut eggs. You want to make sure that you're collecting the largest eggs that you have for incubating. And also talk to your customer. Find out if your customer wants the eggs a little bit underdeveloped, somewhere in the middle, or a little bit overdeveloped. I have customers that like to go both ways. For an underdeveloped egg, right around 12 to 13 days is good. Right in the middle is 13 to 14 days, and then a little bit older is closer to 15 days. Also about between day 10 and 11, bump your humidity up a little bit just to make sure that there's plenty of moisture in that egg before you sell them. It's a good idea to take orders for your balut eggs and get you a deposit. That way you're not incubating eggs and waste them. I started out before I would set some eggs, and then on day 12 or so I would post an ad for balut eggs, and if I didn't get any response to the ad, I would just incubate the eggs, hatch out the chicks, and sell the chicks. But I found it does work a little bit better if you take the orders and get a deposit and then incubate the eggs. And another important thing is to make sure that you're candling your egg throughout the process. You want to make sure that the eggs are still developing. You don't want to sell your client an egg that died, halfway through the incubation process, or an egg that never developed. It was an infertile egg. But other than that, finding a market can be a little bit challenging at first, but once you get the word out there, word of mouth seems to spread like crazy, and before long you'll be incubating more balut eggs than you are incubating hatching eggs. So guys, I hope this video helped you out, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. It helps me out. You'll get notified of any new and upcoming videos if you hit that notification bell. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.